Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adara Live. It's me, Adara, and I'm live. And I'm here today with Amanda Zaal. She is the owner of Aim+Glow, and she has this amazing, awesome planner called Enthusiastic Changemaker. And when I saw that, I just had to talk to her because she had quite the story that got her to this point. And I'm so excited to share Amanda with all of you. So hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to be able to talk to you and share a bit of my story.
Yes. So at 24 years old, you were diagnosed with a couple of brain tumors. Is that right?
That is right. Yeah, I was diagnosed with having two brain tumors and two tumors in my neck at that time. Yeah.
And up until that point, did you have any symptoms or signs that you were unwell?
My only symptoms was that I could hear my pulse in my ear, and then I felt a lump in my neck, which later I found out was one of the tumors, and that was the only one I noticed. And then from scans, realized that there were a total of four. Yeah.
Wow. And the doctors didn't have positive news.
No, they did not. Being a nursing student and being around surgeries, I assumed that, okay, I have a tumor, it's all right, I'll get some surgery and get on with my life. But um, and basically, that was the case for the two in my neck. But for the two brain tumors that I currently still have, they had actually told me 6 years ago now that I had months left to live because of these tumors. Um, they are inoperable and they're just in such a delicate location, whereas like radiation isn't a possibility and surgery isn't a possibility. So they basically told me, don't bother becoming a nurse. Get your kind of affairs in order. You might want to reconsider being in a relationship because you're going to need a caretaker. And yeah, they're basically say prepare for the end.
I don't know what I would do in that situation, but you can totally share with us what you did because I think that's what I would have done too.
Absolutely. Well, it's shocking. First of all, nobody ever thinks that their time is next, or
Mhm.
that we all think that we have all this time in the world and we're going to be here till we're old and gray, and that's would be the best scenario. But I think I went through a stage of denial, and I didn't want to accept what was happening. So I just was grasping onto um, everything that was normal in my life. Like they told me not to bother becoming a nurse, but I was like, no, like I just spent 4 years of my life preparing for this. I'm going to become a nurse. And I was in a 3-year relationship, and I was like, no, like I have to hold on to this relationship. Like I was just grasping for any bit of normalcy in my life. The when I was seeing a counselor at one time, she gave me the expression that like life unfortunately put one of my foot ahead of the other, and I was resistant to take that final step into this new life, and I was still holding on to not take that last step. So I like that analogy. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so then that led to, I mean, this was like 7 years ago now for you almost.
Yeah. Yep.
So you've
And
been
I'm still
through a crazy, you are
there. Yeah.
for a long time. I can feel it. But you went through a whole cycle of, there was depression in there, and I can even imagine what else. So I don't know if you want to just talk quickly on those other little phases and then kind of how you kind of came to the upside.
Absolutely, yeah. As you can imagine, it was an emotional battle because how do you prepare for dying, really? And I hit depression and like in my world of rock bottom, I would say, and um, I I lived in a dark place for quite some time of just like kind of awaiting my death. The relationship that I was in, he had ended it. It wasn't something that he could handle. Fair enough. And it was just, yeah, I felt alone. I felt isolated. I felt like people didn't understand me, and it was hard. So, but what I realized in that process is that really nothing physically was happening to me. It was all sort of like the news that doctors had given me. And so
Mm-hmm.
I had spent all this time being miserable, and I was wasting the time that I did have being alive. So my new mindset shift was that, okay, like if this is all I have left, I'm going to make the most of the time that I have left and be positive. And that kind of like spiraled me into this journey of trying to, go to counselors, get self-help, get read books, research, retreats, just anything to like feel alive and feel healthy and feel happy again and just make the most of the time that I had. No intention of that I would live, and doctors still today don't know why I'm here or why I'm alive. I'm kind of considered like a medical miracle, and I can't claim why I'm still here, what the reason is. But what I did discover in this journey of beautiful experience was just like learning how to, so like I would learn all these new things and I would test them, and it got me to my planning system that you mentioned in the beginning. So basically I would start to exercise because people told me exercise is really good to feel happy, so I would do that. But then it would feel good for a little bit and then I would fall back down to feeling depressed again. And so people are like, focus on the mindset. I learned lots about that. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to focus on being healthy and being happy and write gratitude lists and all self-talk in the mirror and all these wonderful things. And I did that. It feel good for a little bit and then fall back down. And what I discovered in this whole process was that you can't just give your attention to one aspect of your body. Like we often treat our mind and our bodies separately, but our minds, our hearts, our guts, our muscles, like everything is connected. And what I learned is you really do have to give a little bit of attention to everything. And that could sound so overwhelming and so daunting, like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. Like I'm just finally learning how to get exercise in my routine. But what I've also discovered is like, it's just those little things, those tiny, tiny things. And like, an example would be, say, if you want to start eating healthier and you're like, okay, I'm going to cut out treats, like all sweets completely. I would tell you, no, that's not like a attainable goal at this time. Like it would be like, okay, what treats do you eat? Okay, let's break it down even simpler. So you eat muffins, I don't know, I can't think of treats right now, and chocolate bars. Just choose one. Like say you're just going to eliminate chocolate bars. And then it's about just doing that one step, creating that mindset, realizing that you actually can make these changes. And then over time, they become your habits. And overall, then over time, you're balancing mind, body, spirit, heart, everything. And you feel amazing. And then you feel like you can take on life. And yeah, that's kind of what I experienced. And that's what I learned. And that's what's been working for me immensely.
Amazing. Oh, so cool. Okay, so talk to us just a little bit about the enthusiastic change maker and how you went through this journey for yourself, and then how you planned out the book, like what people could expect with the book.
Absolutely. So starting off, like I had no intention to make a book. I realized I had discovered this planning system for myself. And it was actually when I started to help friends and family who were kind of going through difficult times in their own life was like my aha moment of, wow, this is not just working for me, but it's working for other people. And basically the general system of the Enthusiastic Changemaker Planner is it has 5 key components. So change making, self-love, physical movement, food, health, and creative space. And it's a weekly spread so you can see what you're doing in the 5 key areas. And it's simply you track down what you're doing, write down what you're doing. You get this overall self-awareness piece of like, what are your good habits? Maybe what are your not so good habits? And then how you can make small changes going forward, hence the name Enthusiastic Changemaker. So that's kind of the overall view of it. And then there's other goodies in there like weekly priorities. What are your small successes? So it's like keeping track of that, like all the good that you're doing, because it's so easy to focus on not the good or the things that you're missing. And there's a rating system. So like, why was this week awesome? And why did this week suck, quite frankly? And looking back and reflecting and being like, oh, okay, like I know what I'm doing to create those habits or what's working for me or what isn't working for me. And I can use that going forward into my next week. So that's kind of the general sense of what the planner is all about.
Very cool. And does it include like a day-to-day sort of thing, or is it, yeah?
Can I show it on the screen? Yeah. I don't know if it'll show all that well, but basically, so it's a weekly view. This is what it looks like, Enthusiastic Changemaker Planner. And so those are the 5 key components that I just mentioned. And it's unlimited. So if you fall off the wagon, so to speak, you can get back at any time. And so once you kind of have like, this way is your, your daily view, so you get the overall view of like what you're doing in each day, and then you get the overall weekly view.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And where do those just sell online?
They sell online at the website aimandglow.com, and they're also in chapters in Kelowna. I'm based in Kelowna, and then a store in Trail. Yeah, I'm hoping to
Awesome.
expand this year. Yeah.
Cool. And are you creating any other things?
I want to create some videos, some kind of tools that practices that I did, and then people can use them in their planner. So like right now the planner is like, I give exercises and examples in the beginning, but say if something doesn't resonate with you, say if yoga is not for you, something else is, that I'm not forcing you to do yoga. That's your choice, but it's there as an option on the website for different videos and courses if you want to incorporate that into your daily life, your daily schedule.
Very cool. So let's talk just quickly about tapping into our bodies and not letting our minds take over, and not allowing time to really just own how we're feeling, and in different, like you were saying, like our muscles and our guts and our heart are all areas that are working together, and we spend a lot of time ignoring that.
Absolutely. I don't know why we ever started this, but if you kind of pay attention to all the kind of self-help things out there, but we do really treat the mind and the body like they're two separate entities, which makes no sense to me because they're so related. And I'm so thankful for the research that keeps coming out about like even how the food that we're eating can be contributing to anxiety and depression. And we all know exercise is important to us, and for whatever reason why we don't think that's going to help our mind is silly, to be quite frank. And then on that note too, if you're even just like struggling to focus on wrapping your mind around exercise, like again, it's like they have to be balanced together. And the other thing too is what you sort of touched on is you're right, we don't listen to our bodies. And I think that I want to do this whole segment about just like getting in tune with yourself, slowing down and like listening to your body, because your body's going to tell you when you're doing something that doesn't feel right for you. Mm-hmm. And you have to listen to it. And I think feelings speak. They speak, and they should outspeak your thoughts sometimes. And even the research that's supporting how many neurons are found in your gut and also on your heart is super fascinating. I don't know a ton, but learning that myself as well. And it's just amazing that, our bodies are our guides, and we have to listen to them.
We have to. And if we don't, then they create illness and different things to be like, hello, wakey, wakey. Except in your circumstance, you were saying that it was hereditary possibly. It
is, yeah. So it's determined that it's hereditary. But I think what I've learned in my experience is that I was like addicted to stress before. So I was going to nursing school, and I was in the mindset that that's what you do. You go to school, you get a job, and that's the right thing to do. I also took on this research project that was above and beyond my workload, school workload. So I just was kind of like addicted to achieving, I think. And then that feeling of always having that constant pressure to motivate me to do more, which was a huge adjustment that I had to learn in my life. So what I'm saying is, although that these tumors are hereditary, I do believe that my lifestyle can trigger, the growth of them or not. And I think since then I've really had to take care of myself. And I do believe if I did stop taking care of myself, it would probably mean growth of these tumors and the unfortunate results of what I was told would happen 7 years ago. So,
wow, yeah. Amazing. That's so cool. So, and I totally agree with you too. It's like, when we have illness or disease in the body, it's our jobs to start listening and, being aware of what we're feeling and working through those pieces so that those things can start to subside and go away. And I feel like they're just little antennas or little messaging from our body being like, hey, like, hello, me over here, you're really not paying any attention to, this, and it's going to cause more problems in the future. And we need to be preventative of these things. And we have to realize what you're saying around stress and just our anger or just things that, we're not dealing with. And they're just sort of like energetically stacking on our body. It's a lot of it's a lot of energy for our body to hold, and there's no need for that. We need to be releasing. We need to be allowing new energies to flow in. We need to be feeding ourselves great food, and it's so interesting how the body is like the one thing that we just take for granted until some of us take for granted until something sort of happens, and then we're like, oh my god, wakey wakey here.
Absolutely. And like that's my whole mission now, is to help other people, build these healthy habits before it's too late, before they have to go through something, that I went through, or like, you know, where I see people in the hospital sort of thing, and it's just treating them like I want, like our society, we sort of like, we highlight some of the things that aren't so good for us. Like we'll highlight, drinking wine or having drinks out, and that's popular and cool, and we'll have pizza or whatever, but like those aren't things that are helping us. So like I want to help people in like the preventative more, so like why can we have green smoothies as the new cool and that sort of thing. And the other aspect of that as well is when we're talking about your bodies, is I got this idea from Tony Robbins. And a way to kind of like check in, like it's easy in your head to be like, okay, like I'm stressed, clearly I'm stressed, but like a lot of those signs and symptoms and feelings and how to combat that can come from your body. So it's like, pay attention to how you're breathing. So, are your breaths long, deep?
Yeah.
Right? And or are they short and shallow when you're feeling angry? Are your shoulders hunched forward when you're angry and nice and tense? Or are you like sitting back and you relax and comfortable? So it's like you have so many little tells in your body that you need to pay attention to. And yeah, it'll speak to you. So it's an amazing gift.
And I think one big takeaway I'm hoping people are listening to on this is the overriding that we do. So a lot of times the body is telling us a lot of clear information, but we're overriding it. We're like, yeah, but I'll get to it after I get the shopping done, or that's okay. I'll have a bath and relax on Tuesday. Like today's, Monday, and I gotta, get all this stuff done. And it's like, hey, what would life be like if we didn't override and we actually did take and listen in to what we were needing in that moment, and being able to nurture and support ourselves and not feel shame about it and not feel guilt about it, because that doesn't help either. That's just causing another whole whack of problems. And I think with you speaking up, and honestly, this is exactly why I believe you're here and you're sharing such a powerful message, is we want to train humanity to really take a look inside and see what's sort of going on there, and be able to be appreciative and respectful and honoring of that, and not feel like we have to be something else, or we have to do something else, or I have to overachieve to prove something. Like really looking into that thought pattern and behavior, and be able to start really recognizing the truth.
I couldn't agree more. And what I summarize that as is like, I don't think people are comfortable being alone, which is like a big thing. And because like when you're alone, you have nothing but to like focus on yourself and your reflection. And it's so easy. We have so much noise in the world today of telling us, what we should be doing and what is out there, and meeting these high expectations that are put on us these days. And I think truly the gift and the power is saying no to those things, and being okay with it. And it's been a huge learning for me. And it's something, I think I still struggle with today. And, like a big one for me is, if people ask me to go do something, I don't feel like my body's screaming at me, like, this is your time, you need to have yourself time. It's okay to say no. It's okay to put yourself first and not have to make an excuse for your actions of just like, no, I'm busy. No, I actually just need time for me, and let that be okay to other people, and not have that judgment that goes with it, and realize that we all need that. And if we kind of encourage that for other people, then it will become the norm. It will become the, like, we're understanding that we need to take care of ourselves. Like it is important. So I couldn't agree more. I mean, yeah.
Yes. Taking care of ourselves. What an interesting concept, huh? But for some reason, it's like the hardest thing for us to get. We feel like everything on the outside is way more important than what's going on in the inside, and it couldn't be more reversed. It's all about what's going on in the inside to actually create the change and create the impact and create the service that you're here to be. but it can't happen unless you're taking a good look within. So thank you so much, Amanda, just for pioneering this for you. And I feel, being 24 and now 30, I feel like you're going to hit a whole like millennial target audience potentially that's really going to relate and be able to capture what you're saying in a really solid way. So I'm so excited for you. And please get our planner. And green smoothies are cool.
Green smoothies are cool. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. We've had a couple people say hello here. Allie was just saying that your planner has been a life changer. She's been using it for months now. So she says hello. I don't know if you know Fearlessly Fit. Yeah.
Pardon?
Fearlessly Fit. Do you know Allie? No.
Oh, Allie, yes. No, yes. Yeah. Wonderful. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Okay, so below we'll put a link if you want to get yourself one of these awesome planners and or be in touch with Amanda and follow her on Aim+Glow. We'll put all that below. Thank you so much, Amanda, for your time and your mission and your energy and believing in yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and letting me share my story and spreading it to hopefully inspire others to listen to themselves and make changes in their life and become enthusiastic change makers.
Woohoo! More enthusiastic change makers, please.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.